Ophetia Channel. There's boats here. There's plenty of ocean to sail and many lands to explore, but what lies ahead of you dwarfs them all. Should you choose to sail on, you suspect there will be no return, not to the Deadfire you have come to know. Let's continue forward. Eothas, you're apparently heavily burned. Oh no, you have an acute rash. There's ointment in the hold for that, probably. You set a course through the channel and into uncharted turbulent seas. Andra's mortar rages on the horizon. Excuse me, a vast wall of roiling clouds and rain, punctuated by the silver flicker of lightning. The wind pushes against you as if to ward whatever lies beyond from submarine's approach. Submarine? I'm guessing I could have named the submarine, because it just being called submarine is kind of funny. Submarine leads the fleet, crashing through the turbulent waters like an axe through armor. Gods alive, winking Audir mutters, staring up at the storm. Skyla Fiveglass blinks at the blackening skies. New and old salt once who claimed the mortar were the edge of the world. I called him a fool. Now, though, the navigator's head shakes sadly. Now I ain't so certain. Shit, Captain. One of the hands cries. I'll do it in my own time, thank you. Hostile vessels inbound to forward port. With a shake of the head, winking Audir emits a grim chuckle. Suppose it's too much to ask to be let alone out here. The inverted crown flies atop the mast of the motley Principi fleet, along with a dozen other pennants and colors representing a dozen different pirate lords and ladies. Their shanties are audible even against the storm. The approaching fleet numbers at least as many ships as your own, maybe more. Winking Audir frowns against the wind. The fleet's turning, Captain, setting their gun ports against the enemy. Waving her hat overhead, Tuliak Longfrost whoops eagerly, finding some goddamn excitement. The hands look to you from their stations. Winking Audir's eyes hold yours. The crew stands ready. What are the captain's orders? Inspect the fleet. Royal Deadfire Company dispatched over a dozen ships to support your cause, each a veritable masterwork of wood and metal, heavily armed and armored. Soldiers stand at attention on each junk, their rifles at their shoulders, while 100 bronze cannons gleams from within the ship's gun ports. The Rukuapa warships, each sleek junk boasting a panoply of long barrel cannons, follow close behind. Study the enemy. Patrick Pirate Fleet charges aggressively towards you. Its ships a ragtag menagerie of flashy galleons and sleek dowels, stolen junks and mercenary sloops. You count 30 vessels, give or take. Should I join in or should I let them fight it out? Look over your companions. A deer puffs on his pipe as he observes the enemy fleet from end to end. After taking a full accounting of the array of ships, he ashes his pipe, puts it away, and looks to you with a cheerful shrug. Eothas is paging through a grimoire, a look of calm and concentration on his face. He meets your eye and smiles faintly. Maya holds out her arm for Ishisa. He flutters up to perch and nuzzle her cheek. She scratches under his feathers where he seems to enjoy it most. They share a locked gaze where something unspoken passes between them, something loving, duty-bound, and final. Then she turns to you and nods, resolute in facing whatever comes next. I think I'm gonna fight these dudes, because why not? Zodi raises her lantern before her like a shield of light. It flares once brightly in response as she nods to you, ready. Despite her bravado, you notice a slight trembling in her hand. The cage of her lantern rattles as Zodi waits for the battle to begin. She glances nervously to Audir, who returns her a reassuring half smile. All hands battle stations for joining the fray. The deck vibrates as cannon fire erupts from enemy and ally alike, filling the air with hot, hissing metal and banks of thick gray smoke. Winking Audir grabs your arm and thrusts a finger out towards the sea. They're coming at us full sail with the wind at their back. Lumbering dhow, decked with a medley of colorful flags and bristling with cannons, bears down at you at high speed. The battle-scarred Principi crew shouts across the gap, waving cutlasses and spilling ale over the railing. At the helm, the distant wink of a gold tooth reflects either the captain's triumphant smile or savage grimace. You can't tell which is worse. Request the Rukwapwa engage the oncoming vessel. The Wakapwa answers with a volley of cannon fire that shakes your bones. As the enemy's main mass falls, one of the Raotai junks peels away, interposing itself between you and a limping vessel. Wizards board the junk, hurl blasts of flame and frost to finish the enemy's sails as riflemen pepper the doomed crew with lead. Rumble of cannons provides a steady, percussive accompaniment to the choral screams of the dying. The deck pitches and rolls with the twisting of the sea, and the smoke drifts lazily across the choppy waves. Andra's mortar churns to the east, the shifting clouds and shimmering curtains of rain hypnotic. Winking Otter fixes on you with a frown. Ain't over yet, Captain. Mate gestures out across the water. A pair of colossal galleons flank Haznui Karu's armored junk. As mercenary ships close on your ally, they pound the smaller vessel with repeated rounds of cannon fire. Ogre Corsairs. Excuse me. Ogre Corsairs wave heavy clubs from the galleon's decks, impatient to board the junk. Captain, the Hazanui's about to be overwhelmed. Maya grips the railing and looks to you. The ogres possess an overwhelming advantage, and the submarine is the only other ship near. Without your intervention, the fleet's commander stands no chance. Oh shoot, am I gonna have to do a sea battle here? Bring about Lendrith, Winking Adir have the cannons ready. We're taking on one of those galleons. With grim nods, your mates snap to their tasks. Lendrith spins the wheel as Winking Adir calls to the cannoneers. Submarine turns, barreling towards the ogre-crewed galleons in the hopes of offering your allies a reprieve. I don't even know if I equipped cannons on this boat. Oh, this isn't good. I don't know if I equipped... I'm gonna get my ass kicked. I might have to reload this. I don't think I put cannons on this boat. Maybe I should just go for the freaking sea and let them all fight each other. Or the Mad points to a dark spot on a distant horizon. Captain of vessel approaches. I kind of want to do a sea battle here, though, because I've never done one before, even if I die. You squint to the horizon and see unfamiliar colors snapping in the breeze. Ship draws near and his crew throws open the gun ports. Advance. Submarine beats to windward, tacking between port and starboard with all appropriate speed. Your ship is faster and your crew better prepared. You secure the wind gauge before the Scourge of Abet's crew has the opportunity to come about and claim it for themselves. Continue. Choose a course of action. Okay, oh Jesus Christ. Let's make a guess here, I guess. Full speed ahead. Wind in your back growls, howling in your ears. Your ship crashes through the waves as the wind drives it forward. Distance closed by 7 meters. The enemy crew scurried their stations in preparation for maneuvers. The Scourge of Abet turns to port, attempting to gain a wind advantage. Give no quarter charge. Your crew chews through the water, barreling down the back of waves and surging up the face. Sea spray drenches the main deck. With a deafening crunch, a submarine and the Scourge of Abet collide, shedding shards of wood and enemy sailors flying. With a rousing cry, your crew throw grappling hooks and boarding planks across the gap between two ships. They stream into the ship's deck, weapons at the ready. Stunned enemies' crew rally and meet your sailors with the resounding boom of gunfire and clang of steel on steel. Okay, so maybe I just turn this into a ship fight. Like a boarding fight. If I did, that's good, because I don't know what the hell was going on in that ship-to-ship thing. There we go. This is what I like. This is what I do. Got less backup for this, so. Facina, Yidwin, Seraphim, and Vatnir. Alright, so I got a couple ogres, raiders, a wizard in the back. Is that a monkey? Cutthroat powder monkey. Huh. Ogre Deadeye and a cutthroat powder monkey. Alright, let's do it. This guy shouldn't be that bad, surely. Sodi, do your thing. Maya, you're with me. Go for the wizard. She's go for the wizard if you can somehow get over there. You seem stuck. There you go. Sodi, move back. Put your bow on. Symbol of Eothas in the middle there. Eothas, let's start by paralyzing everybody here for a moment. Eothas, I said paralyze everybody. There you go. Listening is fundamental. Alright, let's actually just drop a... you guys aren't going to last very long, are you? Let's just drop a Tane's Orb. Yeah, I was thinking about sailing on, but I'm in the mood to massacre people since this is the last of this. Nice. Very nice. Any more ones, some. Rising winds do nothing to clear the obscuring haze of choking smoke. Popping gunfire punctuates the timpani roll of cannons, and the shouts of desperate sailors vie with the screams of the dying. Enemy and ally alike disappear into the morass, which glows from within, illuminated by burning wrecks. A ship looms out of the darkness to port, and its crew call warnings in their desperate attempt to avoid a collision. They fail, and a submarine heaves as an enemy vessel slides along its broadside. Another craft appears directly ahead, with no room to maneuver. Submarine grinds up against it, sandwiched between two enemy ships. You're trapped. Liquid being boarded, Eothas calls. Pouring out of the haze, pirates swing from the rigging and leap from the deck, screaming their loathing for you. Oh no, not their loathing. Anything but their loathing. Like, did you not see what happened to the last boat that tried this? Oh, there's a couple. Oh, you're going to tag team me with boats here. And I don't have my backup. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I got some of my own dudes here. Alright. Have at it. You guys going to get involved? What are we doing? Let's get Captain Catla, who just made the dumbest decision in gaming, jumping right into the middle of everything. Apparently we're all choked up here. There we go.
No mercy.
Nice meeting you, Captain. And Wizard.
That was about as usual. I'm on a pickle.
Liquid, are you there? Yeah, you're there. I think you're there. No, you're not. What are you doing? Let's circle around here. Wait a minute. You sure? Okay. AI is being really weird here. In addition to there being no music, I think something's bugging out.
Sure.
Alright. Guess everybody else died. I might as well take this a little bit seriously. Boost. Boosted a buff. Excuse me. Paralyze everybody. You can do it. You're right there. Ain't nothing stopping you. Yeah. We're having a little bit of a bug issue, I think, right now. Alright, Maya's shooting people. That's good. Liquid second wind.
Say your prayers.
Okay, get rid of this guy. There we go, and just chew up this lacerator. Nice. Submarine limps away from the broken wrecks gathered behind and breaks free of the bank of smoke. In the distance, Andre's mortar rages, nothing between you and your goal. To aft, the Principi, Sen, and Petrina lie scattered and broken, the remaining pirate vessels fleeing west towards Mogren's Teeth and dunnage beyond. Winking Audier claps you on the back. We did it, Captain. The Captain like it. Or wait, the Captain did it more like. Skylar Fiveglass says, wiping away sweat and soot with a rag. We were just along for the ride. Lendrith chuckles but glances towards Andre's mortar. Not that we're out of this yet. Still, Winking Audier shouts, 3 cheers for the Captain, 3 cheers for submarine. 3 cheers for submarine. Crew shouts, hollers, howls, and whoops. Yeah, if I get a chance to save it and reload here, I'm going to do that. Fix the music issue. Cheers collapse into cries of horror as the surface of the water explodes upward, tearing a nearby ship in half and throwing sailors screaming into the sea. A creature rises from the wreckage, a monstrosity of slick atra and gleaming metal. The hell's this? Winking Audier places a hand on your shoulder. We've got the God's own luck getting this far. Submarine don't stand a chance against whatever that is. Our only hope is the storm. Captain, we can't let that thing near the fleet. Excuse me, Maya turns a panicked look at you. We've got to try to help, whatever the cost. Surface of the water bulges and bursts with a roar like the crash of the surf. A dragon explodes from the water. Familiar scaled form of Snuffleupagus sweeps low, wings outstretched just above the white-tipped waves before spraying its briny breath over the metallic monster. The monstrosity turns on the sea dragon, and they slam into one another, tearing at each other with tooth and fang. Essence pours off of the pair as they pound one another with their abilities at point blank. This must be the Guardian against Snuffleupagus. If you saved him, you would not get to fight the final boss. Sky the Fiveglass gave sweet merciful Andra. I was not expecting that. Mess that bastard up good, shouts Tuliak Longfrost. The hand turns back, pointing. Did you see that? We've got a goddamn dragon. I got a goddamn throat that's not working. Alright, let's try this again. Saved him. He would not get to fight the final boss. So, is this like Metal Dragon? Was that the final boss? Go. Now, while I hold the attention of these beings, Scariophilus' voice echoes among your thoughts. Our depths are cleared, Watcher. Winking Audier turns from the carnage. Captain, we might not get another chance. All hands look to you. We've come this far, there's no turning back now. Winking Audier nods. Sometimes the only way back is forward. Make calls across the deck. All hands to stations. Time to show the gods what submarine be made of. Andra's mortar limbs before and above you, dominating the whole of the world. Rain begins to fall. Storms of Andra's mortar encompass a visible horizon. Hurricane winds roar like an imprisoned beast, blowing with enough force to warp the very seas. Past the curtain of rain and above the swell of waves, you can just barely perceive the outline of colossal Adra pillars. You initiate the dive process with a mixture of hope, apprehension, and disbelief. Air hisses as the ballast tanks fill with water. Groans of pressure emanate from somewhere in the hull, but your submersible gradually dips beneath the waves. You close your eyes and place your trust in Furrante engineering. If you beat the mega bosses, would that final boss get buffed for each mega boss you beat? Oh god. So it in turn kind of turns into its own little mega boss in that sense then, if it gains something from killing all the others. That'd be a hell of a surprise if you didn't know that was coming. Okay, read all that. Wait, then somewhere in the tight quarters, a bolt goes flying like a pop button and hits the far wall with a loud ping. All is silent. Slowly but surely, the propeller spools to life and carries you forward beneath the storms. You navigate around the trunks of massive Adra pillars rising from the seafloor, but the work of crossing Adra's mortar is accomplished with ease. Finally, you spot the shape of a bulky landmass ahead. It's Ukaizo. You let out a sigh of relief. Ornate spires reach up from the island, hinting at the city within. Not all of Ukaizo has weathered the millennia with equal grace. Other structures jut and lean out of the surrounding shallows, making the waters around the island impassable by ship. You resolve to take a skiff the rest of the way. Phew. All this reading first thing's killing my throat. I'm gonna have to fight you fellas, aren't I? I'm gonna have to try to do that at some point. I still am gonna go back. I might do it off stream, and if I can pull it off, maybe put it on YouTube, but I might try one of those mega bosses at some point when I got some time. Just see how bad they are. Ingwithan Sentinel. Alright, get him, a deer. He's nothing. The freaking bird's the first one to charge him. Alright, I'm gonna go with something simple. Necrotic Lance. You are weak to corrode. Buff everybody right there. Oh crap, Eothas. Change of plans, run. Run. Zodi, minor avatar. Okay, Eothas, we're going to... Where's it? There we go. Noxious Burst. Right there on this one. Help Zodi out a little bit. Did you just punt Zodi? He just punted her like a football. Need to change. Ooh, I need to change all their positions a little bit. A deer needs to be in the front. No wonder Liquid was the first one running up there. Actually, can I do that in the middle of a fight? Yeah, I can. Here we go. Alright, I should probably take you guys seriously here. Zodi, you okay? You're alright. After you just got freaking sent flying. Symbol of Eothas right there. Eothas, let's try a... Because I don't know if you did it the first time. You did. You did a Noxious Burst. Let's see. You don't like lightning. But instead, I think I'm going to paralyze with you. Sure you can. It's been so long since I've used you, I forget what you can do here. Mark for the hunt right there. Liquid. Crush. Sody, why didn't it work? What are you talking about? Were you interrupted? What is that guy doing? Paralyzed one of them. Oh shit, Sody. Uh-oh.
Hitting the water.
Okay. Thought he was getting ready to do something worse than what he just did. Let's not play with him. Missile salvo. You guys are doing okay. Cleansing flame.
Lava root be on sync. That was about as useful as it.
Okay. Spawn and blows.
Oh, pickle. Oh, word.
You guys can take this. Let's drop some thorny roots on him too. Whatever we got. Hit him with another necrotic lance for corrode damage.
That was about as useful as a bump on a pickle.
It's almost dead. Got one. Got the other.
Lost the light.
I like the way they collapse. That's very well animated.
Happy to oblige. All right.
I'll take all of your stuff, and I'll take all of your stuff.
What can I do you for?
Before I go ahead and move further, this pile of debris hums with ancient power. Take and enchant everything you can. Okay. Is Frostseeker all the way enchanted? No, it's not. Crafting requirements not met. Oh, because you're not superb yet. Grants Garland's breath. You have nothing left to save, right? Yeah, that's true. I'm probably going to run out of resources before I get everything, though. That's a lot of stuff there. Well, let's see what we have equipped. I actually should have done this a long time ago. I wasn't thinking about it, though. Boiled leather. Well, let's see what this does. 5% of incoming hits converted to grazes, plus 1 weapon sets. Well, boiled leather, definitely. And hardened buck skin, minus 10% crit damage taken, plus 1 item. There's that. Alright. Liquid, what do you got? That's soulbound. Oathbreaker's Axe, let's make that. Legendary. Willbreaker. Oh, I don't have the stuff for it. 10% of hits converted to crits. Sure. Target has Resolve Affliction 8. Skill to make him flinch. I can't do that. I don't have any Vithrak Brains. Skip that. A deer. I think your stuff's all... No, it's not. You're already done with that. Slayer's Claw, that's soulbound. Probably because I'm usually trying to avoid Vithrax. Funny thing too, if I'm going to be starting Baldur's Gate up here, I hate Mind Flayers as much as I hate Vithrax. Let's see. Anything I could do with this? Grant Solitary Fate. Cast Chill Fog around the caster when they are defeated, as long as there are no nearby allies. Nah. Vengeful Cold. Grants a chance to cast... Launch a small blast of cold around the caster upon receiving a critical hit, dealing freeze damage to nearby enemies. Sure, let's do that. And Freezing Bite. 10% chance to paralyze target in ice for 3 seconds on crit. Like Freezing Bite, that sounds nice. What's your armor look like? Sharpshooter's Garb. Wow, you're desperately in need of armor upgrades here. Deflection against ranged weapons, sure. Convert 15% of range hits to crits for 6 seconds after missed by ranged weapon attack. Sure. Will of a Wand. Can't do that. It grants just a dream. Prevents a severely injured character's health from reaching 0 for a brief moment. Or 5% chance to cast Crush Damage Water Wave a target on hit. Just a dream. Bye-bye, my last Vithrak Brain. Summons a pair of drakes to fight for the caster. Hits this weapon at 5% chance to cast Arkmir's Dazzling Lights. Fantastic Friends. Superb. Don't have enough for legendary. 10% accuracy against beast sounds good. I'm surprised how much money I had. I thought I was going to run out here and I haven't. Increased chance to stun target on hit if a dwarf. Echoing of Amina's warning to Blue Water Tribe grants resolute inspiration to nearby allies and shaken affliction to nearby enemies. Sure. Superb. 10% of hits to crits. And I can't do legendary. That's everything. Alright, my order's good. Let's rest. Give you that.
Bird! Bird, bird, bird! You bow to Nemnock!
Bird. Save it. Alright. Pardon. Heh. Faint echo of soul energy blinks up at you from the depths of the wreckage. Oh, there's like places here. Grand Promenade. Well, if I don't have to worry about that mechanical dragon now, this should be fairly easy moving through here at this point, I would imagine.
I suppose we're heading straight into that.
Into what? That building? Yeah, it looks like it. Erosion has softened the bronze features, giving the proud statue of a brooding air.
I've got it.
Sending into the city would be suicide while the relentless storm rages on. A furious storm obscures the sprawling city below, but you can make out the shape of distant spires reaching up from the flooded ruins. Spirit winds tug on your soul with insistence, like a stern hand trying to pull a cloak from your back. You recall the last time you encountered a Beowick. It feels a lifetime ago. So, here we are. You look to those who accompanied you this far, who risked everything to face the confrontation ahead. How are you feeling about all of this, Adir? Adir's gaze wanders along glinting archways and half-clapped spires, his mouth agape. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Keep an eye out. Make sure my girlfriend got to work alright.
Gilded Vale got its name from the way the wheat fields used to look in the sun. But this place... this place really is gilded. Might as well be a different world.
Much prettier than the sun and shadow. That's true.
Yeah. Seems they had a whole different way of looking at things. I'd say I like this one better, but the truth is, neither one seems any closer to me.
Even sidekicks get unique dialogue here. That's cool.
These great people got a funny way of passing on. They disappear from the world, but leave their problems behind for the rest of us to deal with.
That's why we're here. We're going to face this. Whatever comes, we're going to see people through.
I guess maybe that's one good thing that's come out of this. Well, at least for me. I got something to do with my life that doesn't involve hauling or shoveling. I even got a friend or two out of it.
He smirks.
Whole world's about to face the biggest test it ever saw. What Eothas is doing, it's gonna change everything. We may not survive. Kith, I mean. God of redemption, trying to redeem the gods.
He shakes his head.
What a mess.
Adir looks to Eothas in the distance and sighs. You're looking thoughtful, Eoth. Eoth looks out over the sprawling ancient city.
5 years ago, you controlled the destiny of thousands of souls in sun and shadow.
He pauses, considering the vista.
But the choice you make today shall define the fate of every living thing in Eora.
He turns to you. Curiosity shines in his eyes, but there's something else there. Pity. What do you think I should do?
And to think of all the times I've asked you the same question.
He takes a deep breath, thinking.
I suppose if it were up to me, I'd want to ensure that Kith are free to define their own future. To triumph or fail by our own decisions.
He looks over the ancient broken city. I actually agree with you.
But it isn't up to me.
He pauses, looking back at you.
I know you'll choose wisely. And no matter what happens, it's been an honor journeying with you. Again.
He puts his hands on your shoulder, meeting your gaze with a fond smile. Turns back to regard the great city before you. Something on your mind, Jody?
We gonna do this or what?
Zodi licks her chapped lips, dark gaze narrowing as she takes in the sight of the ancient city's ruins. Raised high, her lantern casts hard shadows over the planes of her face.
We've made it this far, yet we're still alive. Might as well square off with my god before our luck runs dry.
Eoth rolls his eyes. If we survive this... No, never mind. I'll tell you after.
I'll hold you to that.
A cheeky grin blooms, but just as quickly dies. Excuse me. Think we can reason with him?
It didn't work so good at Mogren's teeth, now. But sure, we can try to sway my god's will again. Well, if anyone could do it, I reckon it'd be you.
Well, maybe if we survive all this, like I said, I'll pour my heart out to her.
Tell me, Watcher, can there be a god of light and birth if souls themselves can no longer be reborn?
She points her lantern toward the shattered ruins in the distance, Ukaizo's broken bones.
I thought it'd be different how it turned out, but I couldn't dream of any other way.
Sodi sets her jaw grim.
Now then, shall we go face my god for one last time? Find out what it is we can or can't do in these end times. Whether we're meant to wither or thrive.
Yep, let's go.
Consider me your second shadow.
Sodi thumbs the copper cage of her lantern in a subconscious attempt to reassure herself. Maya, any thoughts?
So, here we stand on Lost Ukaizo.
Maya shoves her hands into her pockets, sighing. She glances around wearing an unreadable expression. You expected more?
My parents gave me an earful about the horizon-spanning beaches and towers reaching beyond the stars.
Maya snorts, shaking her head.
All I can see is good folk tussling over a wasteland. Time to confront Eothas, hopefully for the last time. You know what you're doing?
If we can restore order to the Deadfire, this is the place to do it.
No time to waste then. I'm about as ready to confront a god as I'll ever be.
Maya smiles, but there's a lining of unease about it.
We're doing good work here. Setting foot on Ukaizo is a statement that no one can ignore. You should be proud. Captain,
She furrows her brows, searching for the right words.
You got us here in one piece. If there's a better compliment out there, I don't know what it is.
She nods, gesturing for you to go forward. Maya folds her arms and looks out on the city. She reaches down and pets Ishiza when he nuzzles her leg, but says nothing more. I think we're as ready as we can be. Let's go. Alright, let me save it. I'm gonna make a real quick text here. Real quick. Okay, I got a text back. My phone is very slow. Okay, here we go. I sent a random cowboy hatted emote along for no reason whatsoever. I like to do that every once in a while to mess with my girlfriend. I'll send a random emote that has nothing to do with anything. So she's kind of like, what the hell? Anything down here? I like that I'm not doing this like I did it last time, where I'm like rushing to get things done because I have like a time frame I need to be done by. It's kind of nice to just be able to take all this in. A tiny engraving reads, in memory of... Whoa. Hold on, computer. In memory of Dumu, Tapua, and Tokima, Ngadi's first chosen. This is because I wanted to start the second game next Monday and everything. Yeah. Okay, I guess I gotta go to Spire next, and then I guess I go to Moe Guith. I'm gonna have to figure out how much time this whole saga took me. I haven't... How many... Hold up. We are at about 104 hours on this one. So all in all, about 200, a little over 200 hours for the whole saga. Neat. Though the device atop the tower spins in wild, blurring revolutions, the air around it is still and calm. You stand in the eye of the storm, which has cordoned off Andra's mortar from the rest of Eora for thousands of years. You see an antiquated control panel, its levers engaged in positions of activation. Something about this place echoes with ancient awareness. Discorporate feelings of longing and distress reach out to you. Your mind is assaulted with complex symbols and postures, most of them beyond your reckoning. As the sensation pulls away, you recognize that it left behind knowledge of water shaping as it existed long ago. Armed with this memory, a capable water shaper might wield the power of their ancestors. Well, Takehu's not with us anymore. Takehu should find this interesting. A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots. Somewhere in the obscurity of the storm, Eothas rears back his fist to deliver a mighty blow. The control panel has weathered the millennia better than the rest of the city. A layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes and engraved copper levers, which appear both intact and fully functional. So I should probably try to deactivate this, I imagine. You grip the largest of the levers and bring it to its starting position. The vibration of machinery gradually slows and turbulent winds grow calm.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Andra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell.
Oh god, Daenerys isn't about to fly in and here on a dragon, is she?
The bell's ringing is soft. Not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid knight stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
What will come after this?
That will depend on the will of Kith, whose desires are ever in flux. Soon you will confront Eothas for what will likely be the final time, and you will do so as the Herald of Bareth, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
The pallid knight inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
If Eothas truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Eothas be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Eothas must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Eothas thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Eothas will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Eothas must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
It's Eothas' obligation to help us fix what he's about to break.
Coddled children learn nothing that is not spoon-fed to them. With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Eothas is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Of course you would say that.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
Kith will not solve Eothas' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
No, we have to figure this out in our own time, at our own pace.
That confidence is what will save Kith, Watcher. Do not lose it when you stand before Eothas.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Eothas drags them.
Can I pet your wolf?
Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Eothas' actions. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Eothas' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
Eothas wouldn't do this if he didn't agree with you. Maybe we're not doomed after all. Thanks for that. Boudica's been dripping pessimism in my ear like poison. One of you has tried to convince me that mortals are destined to fail, but I don't believe that. You would abandon us just like that when we need you most. Eothas wouldn't do this if he didn't agree with you. Maybe we're not doomed after all.
And yet you came to Ukaizo with only the Rauataians at your back. All that Kith stand to lose. And even then, your leaders could not join hands, squabbling instead over prestige and resources. You believe that will change when my final death comes calling? You are a greater fool than I thought. Margaret is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Eothas were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death.
Man, you're such a bummer.
Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
As Rimergon's words fade, the Pallid Night returns. She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height. She lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
It was your creation. You owe us your help in fixing it. Everything that's happened, everything that will happen, it's the gods' fault. We're better off without you. True change, lasting change, demands sacrifice. Coming days will be hard, but we'll be the better for it. Things are fine as they are. If we can't stop Eothas from destroying the wheel, we should only rebuild it as it was. I don't care. The gods did what they could. We'll take it from here. I don't know the gods the wheel. I'm not sure of anything anymore, or say nothing. True change, lasting change demands sacrifice. Coming days will be hard, but we'll be the better for it. Everything that happened, everything that will happen is God's fault. Gods did what they could. We'll take it from here.
I only suggest that you walk into this future
Excuse
with
me.
eyes wide, Watcher. The mantle of responsibility is a heavy one, broad though Kith's shoulders may be. Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty, and you have discharged it well. You will be free of it in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to return it to the wheel. You made his memory his penance. Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Eothas now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
The gods depart one by one in brooding silence. A solitary figure remains perfectly still until the last of her colleagues is out of earshot. Woedica peers down at you, a triumphant grin splitting her weathered features.
Bareth is a fool if she thinks I'll let her enjoy the last word.
Nobody expected you not to get the last word.
You were trusted with a heavy responsibility, Watcher. Speaking for mortals, and representing their interests in the future to come.
Indeed, did my choices teach you anything about us?
I knew the day would come when martial law claimed the Deadfire. Cannons and black powder have a way of drowning out the song of compromise. Like me, Queen Onakaza knows the sting of treachery. Can you hear her, Watcher? From the depths of the beyond, she howls for justice and vengeance.
I can't hear her at all. I don't have my volume up too high, though.
Furrante has done much to distinguish itself as a contender on the world stage. But a true test of its endurance is still to come. Regicide makes for a troubling start. And yet, they have earned your confidence in a gamble that could decide the fate of all mortals. Why is that?
Well, they did offer me a submarine. Furrante believes in harnessing available resources, not plundering or coddling them. I respect their pragmatism. Deadfire needs order, not greed, not blind hope.
Uh-huh. Consider my curiosity appeased. For now. In our grandest plans, you are a singularly unpredictable variable. You play a dangerous game by investing your hope in others. Deception and failure are woven into the fabric of mortals. I can safely promise that they will disappoint you before long.
I intend to see that promise broken. Whatever happens, we can face it together without you if necessary.
I look forward to watching the bright cheer fade from your eyes under cold, unforgiving reality.
And I look forward to not hearing your voice ever again.
Whether you heeded my wisdom or not, everything you've done to get this far has informed our view of mortal kind. I hope you're satisfied with your performance. We've learned much from each other.
Did I make a difference? Are mortals ready to own their destiny?
Nothing could convince me that mortals are equipped to steward their future. Your efforts to prove me wrong were admirable, and my detractors will likely use your example to oppose my rule. Once Rauatai learns to sustain itself, they may have a fighting chance. But I am not easily swayed. A difficult road lies ahead of me. Your alliances have made proving my argument an uphill battle. Well done, I suppose. Eothas will no doubt have a sunnier outlook on mortals and their chances of success. He already has everything he wants, so go and listen to his empty-headed idealism. The rest of us will be sharpening our blades, preparing for the future he lays out for us.
Tell Bird to leave Nemnock alone.
Your timing is very funny, Nemlock. Consciousness returns in a wave as the last of the machine's energy dissipates. The calming of the storm reveals the sprawling city around you like sand wiped from a mosaic. You see the distant outline of Eothas raising his fist in triumph and purpose. Oh yeah, there he is. I don't know if that's raising his fist in triumph and purpose. It looks like he's punching something.
You keep falling asleep on me. I'm gonna have to start walking behind you with a pillow.
I'd appreciate that.
Oh, by the way, the storm's gone. Also, I think Eothas has ended the world.
Adir takes a long draw from his pipe and nods as he stares at the Colossus in the distance.
It seems we're all still here.
Alof glances around, rubbing his head gingerly.
If all your missions involve this many head wounds, then I volunteer to set the next one out.
Maya rubs the back of her head and winces. She's a let's how paint. Paint squawk.
God's darnation. My head.
Sodi presses a palm to her brow as she struggles to her feet. Peering over the edge of the tower, you make out a distant shape amid the ruins below. A ragged ship has settled offshore where it lists at a drunken angle, flag of the Principi drooping from the tilted mast. The empty deck tells that the surviving crew have long since boarded a skiff and rowed to shore, which means you are no longer alone on Ukaizo. Oh no, not Principi. If there ever was a place for a final standoff, it's Ukaizo. Alright, save it. Let's go back. Neat. That'll make a good thumbnail for my YouTube video. Save and reload. Okay. Slowed. Quick save I just made. Let me fully reload, like shut everything down. Oh, back to main menu. Let's see. Okay, there's some music. I think it's gonna be alright if I reload from here. You know what? I'll load it back up because I still hear the ambience from the from Ukaizo. Excuse me. We are synchronizing. Take a moment to check my phone while we're doing this. I'll take a moment to hurt my thumb while I do it. I repaired a drain, replaced a drain this weekend that I was meaning to do 4 weeks ago. And while I was taking the old drain out, I sliced my thumb open on the track of a drawer that's right next to it under the sink. It was great. My thumb is not bandaged up right now. I'm letting it get some air. Alright, come on. Hurry up and synchronize. What are we doing? What's the deal? Where are we at? The world is bricks. I think it's coming. That was my blocky background for doing retro streams for a while. Since most of what I was playing wasn't widescreen. Excuse me. Alright, I'm going to continue. I'm going to get up real quick and refill my water while this is loading. Give me about a couple minutes. And I gotta start getting up more while I'm streaming. My legs didn't want to work when I got up. If I ever do hit affiliate and I get the channel points option, I'm gonna make it so that you can pay channel points to make me get off my ass and do push-ups or something. Alright, let's do this.
So now it comes to this, amico.
Oh, Furrante. It's the one I didn't like. Tugging on the frilled cuffs of his sleeves, Captain Furrante strolls confidently forward. With a flick of his hand, he signals to the posse of well-armed pirates behind him.
You think to steal my golden dream, but I will not allow it to happen.
You know what's real smart? Everything that I've done to get here, everything I have done to get here, I almost had to fight a metallic dragon, but I had my dragon friend fight him. And you think you have a chance. He embellishes an aristocratic bow as he draws arms against you.
My gratitude is yours for disabling the storms. It seems I did not require Rivan's ship to reach Ukaizo in the end.
Three? Really, you pirates are worse than cockroaches.
The Principi have adapted. No, thrived for centuries. We survived the fall of the grandest empire Eora has ever known. You may slaughter us now and then, but you can never stop us. We will ransom, thieve, and forge a future for our continued blood, long after you are but dust.
You're probably not wrong, but I'm still gonna kill you. Spoken like a true new blood. 3? Oh, we already said that. Spoken like a true new blood.
Gods curse you. I should have drowned you in the wreckage of Port Maggi.
Muscles in his jaw flex as fury tightens his expression.
Corres, Casita. May your lungs fill so fully with blood that you choke even in hell.
I've heard better last words. Alright, so a pistolier, you've brought a priest with you. A pistolier, a raider. Oh, you guys are screwed. Alright. Zodi, just in case, we're not going to get too cocky here. Buff, Eothas, paralyze, right there. Hell of a fight you gave me there, Captain Furrante. Hell of a fight. Jesus, are you guys gonna go down that quick? Nah, I can fit a missile salvo in here. Like, I pretty much just walked up and beheaded that dude. Like, he was nothing. That was funny.
Right between the eyes.
Alright, let's get these two.
Take them down.
Oh, Liquid, why are you hurt? Let's take all your stuff. At least you had some magical gear. It didn't do you a whole hell of a lot of good, but you had something. Furrante's breastplate, medium armor, superb, grants vigilance, grants bodyguard. What's vigilance do? Grants concentration when combat starts. Enchant, let's see what it does. Grants first to the fight. Improves all defenses, start combat for a brief duration. Or increasing its healing, done to all nearby party members. Take the hit. Fighter interposes himself or herself between incoming attacks and nearby allies. And R grants nearby allies damage reduction, though the rare takes increased damage. Hell with that. Fun fact, depending on how you play the game changes who you encounter here in the end, depending based on who your greatest rival was. Amongst other things, you can happen to fight Queen Ukaizo here. You can also encounter a leader of the Valiant Trading Company, a guy who was in the throne room the first time you walked in, and fight against Pelagina if she left you for the Valiant Trading Company. Oh, that would have been crazy if Pelagina showed up. Furrante, a man like yourself, should have known that you couldn't beat the Watcher. Yeah, he wasn't very smart in the end. Like, seriously, what were you expecting to happen there, buddy? Alright, so we gotta go back to these steps now. Like, he even had last words, like he was gonna, you know, pull off the impossible. And I guess it's okay to dream.
You descend into the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the god's great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life. But with every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine.
Fun fact, there's a unique ending slide if you kill all the pirate leaders before coming here. Next time I might just have to do that.
As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Eothas. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms.
Oh, it's the god's bodies. Ooh, that's crazy.
An immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Eothas's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Audra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine.
Well, they said that 3 of them are empty, right? So that would be while Abaddon, because wasn't his body at Durgan's battery?
The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra, intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries. The pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Eothas' head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous, rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Eothas' attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
Probably Rimmergand.
To see Ukaizo in this way.
Hi, how's it going? So easy to get lost in your eyes.
It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Hawana, yes, but also kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops.
Wouldn't be surprised if Rimmergand's body is somewhere within the depths of the White that wins. That would make sense.
Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
Soul of Widewind separates out from the masses trailing in your wake. He looks up at Eothas and clears his throat.
Been a while, old friend.
Widewind, I did not think to see you here. But few things go as expected when the Watcher is involved.
Yeah, tell me about it.
We were a good team. Once. But this isn't what we fought for. Ain't you just burning the harvest because you planted the wrong seeds? An astute observation, old friend. Consider instead that I am giving the soil back to those who till it. Spring must always follow winter. As long as there are people committed to finding the other side of change, the agony will not last. But thank you for challenging me as you did in fairer times. I haven't forgotten the lesson we strove to impart. You're welcome, I suppose.
Widewind clears his throat and backs away to offer you space. Eothas turns his attention back to you.
This isn't right. You can't put this burden on us. You can't make the gods' problems our problems, our responsibility to fix. How can you have faith that what you're doing is good? You know how many people are going to suffer because of this. No matter how you spin this, you can't set it straight.
Adair, I wish I could explain it to you. It breaks my heart that I cannot. But no matter how much you curse me, do not despair.
I like Eothas, he's so nice.
The souls of this world will need people like you. Lights burning brightly in the darkness to come.
Gone, please, I'm begging you. What do I do following this? How am I to best serve those still living, to improve our future chances of survival?
The Deadfire and the Eastern Reach are full of animancers, women and men with brilliant minds who can solve this great problem. They will also need people with brilliant souls, like you, Shodi. People who can tend to the spiritual needs of the world in a time of fear and desperation. Remember, the flame you bear is not only light, but warmth. Provide comfort to all who need it.
Eothas shakes his head, looking up at Eothas.
What right do you have to do this? Destroy the wheel and leave us with nothing? Without even knowing what will come next?
Aloth, we are all, gods and mortals, responsible for our own actions. But inaction carries its own moral responsibility. It is a burden I have carried for far too long. One must always do as their conscience dictates, even if that means abdicating a position of power.
The Navy thinks very highly of this place. Maybe I lack their imagination.
Maya folds her arms and squints up at Eothas.
What do you think, big guy? Are all the hopes and dreams of Rauatai here on Ukaizo? Is this city really the cornerstone of our future?
She shrugs as if it doesn't matter either way, but her eyes reflect a distant hope.
Ukaizo's time has passed, Maya. It remains only as a symbol, but symbols can hold great power. If you wonder about the future of Rauatai, know that if there is any greatness in your people, it existed before you set foot in this ancient place. Ukaizo will not make Rauatai any greater or lesser than it already is. Only its people possess that power. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
Let's see, I've come to ask you to take pity on the mortals of this world who will suffer for your actions. After you've gone, the gods will go to war with each other and with mortals unless they have a strong leader. Mortals are going to need a head start on things to prevent the gods from reestablishing control. You need to inspire them. I want to go further than breaking the wheel. I want you to destroy all of it. Only to bear witness, I've come to fight you. Yeah, let's just stab him right in the shoulder. I'm sure that'll work. Four is end of world option. Yeah, that's... See Rimmergan being all about that. Don't pick 5. Definitely not picking 4. Don't worry. I screwed up in the DLC earlier. I'm not going to mess up this time. Mortals are going to need a head start on things to prevent the gods from reestablishing control. You need to inspire them.
Mortals are already inspired. It is what has pushed them on for hundreds of generations to reach this point in time.
Yes, but they probably are too dumb to realize that.
Animancy is poised to go far beyond what we Ingwithans ever discovered. Why does Helia think I should lend more power to mortals?
If this is truly for the benefit of mortals, you are obligated to set them on the right path, not just leave them stranded. I want to ensure that the gods don't have the upper hand in the struggles to come, because I believe in Kith, believe in our potential to do good in this world. Sure.
As do I. From where should mortals draw their inspiration?
They should look to the future. Their imagination and inventive spirit should guide them. They should take lessons from yours past, the rich history of their cultures. Why not both? They should take lessons from yours past, the rich history of their cultures.
Very well, Watcher. I will ensure that mortals are inspired by my passing, that my power not be expended in vain. Indulge me in a moment's curiosity. There is something I wish to know about Eora, about Kith, that I can only learn through your eyes.
Your voice just kind of changed there, buddy. Go on. What could I know that you don't? Well, look at that. Now Eothas the Green Terrible needs something from me. You're not taking my eyes. I need them. I wonder if he would laugh if you said that. Go on.
You followed me all this way, dodging an armada, navigating an impenetrable wall of storms, voyaging across uncharted seas, with the machinations of gods echoing in your ears, all the while trusting in the institutions of Kith to get you this far, and earning their trust in turn. Whatever else happens this day, that much is remarkable. I believe that mortals possess the strength to collaborate and shape a future of their own design. Not all of my brothers and sisters agree. By relying on others and coming together in a time of crisis, you illustrate my point. The gods will witness you and question their assumptions about how responsible, empathetic, and sophisticated mortals can be. What inspired your decision, Watcher? Did the choice echo your foundational beliefs? Or were you influenced by observation?
Rautayans know how to respond to a threat. The future will need their cunning. History is written by survivors. It would be irresponsible to prop up a lesser authority. I wanted to prove Wodika wrong. She thinks mortal cooperation is destined to fail. Someone made me an offer and I took it. Nothing personal. I wanted to prove Wodika wrong. She thinks mortal cooperation is destined to fail.
Wodika has been especially active since the downfall of her favorite operative. Have you ever considered that she is mentoring his replacement?
That's actually a good point. Interesting. I won't dismiss the idea entirely.
My brothers and sisters never act when the gains are strictly short-term. If Wodika's shadow has fallen upon you, that can only mean she recognizes your potential to further her ambition.
You feel searing heat radiate from Wodika's restored crown, but a moment later it cools.
I thank you for your perspective. Yours is not the only opinion that concerns me, but for the moment, it offers much to consider.
See, and that's what I like about this game, that little tiny thing that we have that crown that, you know, we kind of had to go through some hoops to get. But it makes sense that that would happen, and they thought to do that and have that part in there.
All I ever wanted for mortals was growth, transformation. Once, my brothers and sisters shared this goal.
It's the little things.
Some have forgotten themselves, giving into fatalism or tyranny. Others have succumbed to apathy. It brings me great sorrow that crisis is the only way to set the future in motion. Would that I could pass the responsibility of heralding your darkest hour to another. Never forget that trust and coordination between mortals brought you to this place. Your future is built on a foundation of hope, and you have laid the first stone.
Thanks for the lesson. What happens next?
I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
No sooner have Eothas' words entered your mind and you hear one final dissonant ring of the chime within you, than silence. The knot that formed when the Palt Knight first addressed you in the beyond is now gone.
You are free now. As free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you. But always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Eothas squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fists back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Eothas draws power from the luminous Audra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat. He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Audra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Eothas' body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Audra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits.
Aww, I'm gonna miss that statue.
Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Eothas does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted. The machine spins erratically, but withstands the relentless barrage. Eothas stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Eothas drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Audra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Eothas' arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes as Eothas' shout echoes throughout the valley. Your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade. As Eothas' voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Eothas. As the light of thousands of souls leaves Mara's Numa's body, Deadfire quakes, the sea churns. All around the archipelago, long-forgotten Anguithan ruins rise from the rubble and the waves. A lost bounty of ancient knowledge, now laid bare for Kith.
More dungeons to explore, too, in a sequel.
Priests, mystics, and visionaries around the world dream of ancient pasts. Scholars delve into the annals of history. All of Eora gazes backward to find its way forward. What remains to be seen is whether Kith will find the same answers the Anguithans did, and whether they will apply them to the same effect. As Rauatai's engineers had predicted, turning off the machine at Andra's spire calms not only the storms of Andra's mortar, but also those in Rauatai. For the first time, citizens of the mainland admire the beauty of sea and sky, without wondering when they will unleash destruction. The changes to Rauatai, however, extend far beyond the weather.
Still strongly dislike Eothas for this choice. How so?
Rauataians had long forged their identities around enduring hardship and laboring together. But over time, as their cities and crops flourish under sunny skies, they find they need one another less. Inevitably, some lament this softer, easier life. Others point to national self-reliance, to burgeoning industry, to families that did not have to send their kin abroad, as evidence that the new ways are vastly preferable to the old.
Still feels as if he disagrees with a functioning system and has decided it should change no matter what others want more toward God. I do agree with that. Like, he pretty much was the decision maker here, and he was like, this is the way it's going to be, I'm doing it, and I know what I'm doing, and if you don't like it, tough shit. And I'm sure something bad's going to come of this. Because it always does, especially in video games. Like, I don't necessarily mind what he did, and I think it was for good reason. But I can totally see the whole, he basically took control on his own and just decided. Might see some effects in Avowed. I'm still holding out they do a PoE 3 at some point too. It would be really cool if they took this setting and like Obsidian kind of went and made a world around it that blew up, kind of like how Elder Scrolls did, and there ended up being more games down the road. You know what I mean? Like, you can do Avowed, you can have maybe another PoE, and you could do stuff like that. You can expand it out a bit more. Who knows? Maybe down the road there'll be like a online PoE game or something.
Besides, Rowatayans everywhere still share a purpose more urgent than any the world had ever known. Reforging the cycle of reincarnation.
I did read somewhere on a forum that PoE 2, they finally made a profit off it this year. So that's a good sign. And I take full responsibility for it too because I bought it this year. So
the changes to Deadfire are just as significant. The Ranganui declares the archipelago an extension of his empire, and his administrators waste no time in making that true in deed as well as in word. Rowatayan gunships patrol Deadfire, hunting down pirates and smugglers, including the remaining Principi. After their defeat at Andra's Mortar, the pirate nation stands no chance against the organized might of Rawatai. As Rowatayan farmers, merchants, and laborers move to the archipelago, there is little room and less patience for the Valian Trading Company. The Ranganui soon forces the Valian Trading Company to surrender its holdings in Deadfire, straining relations with the republics. Rawatai knits its new archipelago together with all the tools of government and infrastructure. New ports spring up across Deadfire, guarded with sturdy Rowatayan bronze and run with dispassionate Rowatayan efficiency. Most Hwana remain, even as their homeland changes around them. Their huts and lodges are cleared to make way for towns of stone and brick. The walls that are built to protect them also cut them off from the freedom of the open sea. Those Hwana who trade caste and prize share for Rowatayan unity and striving prosper. Others mourn the passing of their queen and see the end of their way of life as a precursor of the doom of Eora. The mysterious deaths of Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa provoke hostilities between the Valian settlers and the Huawan residents. What starts with angry words escalates to retaliatory killings as each side blames the other. By the time anyone bothers to question the strange coincidences surrounding their deaths, including reports of a cloaked Omawi woman seen in both the port and the village, both sides have gone too far to turn back.
These screens about Port Machi is due to you finishing Maya's quest as you did. So she's the one
The chaos makes
that
it
took them
easy
out.
for a small Rowatayan contingent to swoop in and establish control over the island. Within days, they eject the remaining Valians and pacify the Hwana. Port Maje becomes a valuable outpost, and one that allows Rawatai easy control over the southern end of Deadfire. It is, by all accounts, a smooth and exceedingly well-run operation.
I will say I absolutely love how they do the endings in this. Same with the last one, just like explaining every little thing, like what's happening. It's very in-depth.
As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform. While Hazanui Karu directs her fleet from Ukaizo, Atsura stays behind to manage Nekataka. Under his oversight, sturdy walls and artillery batteries rise to protect the city. Ships bearing settlers from Rawatai and staple goods from the archipelago churn the waters of Queensbirth. And despite the vacancies at Kahanga Palace, Atsura retains his simple quarters in the Brass Citadel. The Royal Deadfire Company evacuates and raises the gullet, hoping to lift the Raparu out of squalor and eradicate the criminal elements. They certainly rid Nekataka of an eyesore, though the larger problems of crime and poverty prove harder to solve.
Yeah, some about Atsura rubbed me the wrong way too.
The Angwithan and Hwana ruins that Eothas reveals hold many surprises for the Water Shapers Guild, though they yearn for the knowledge still hidden in Ukaizo. What they learn amidst their people's ruins spreads and strengthens the practice of water shaping across the archipelago. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hesango, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Eothas. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him. But that changes as word of Eothas' deeds at Ukaizo spreads. After all, what business have they worshipping a god who denied his own legitimacy? The faith of the children of the Dawnstars fades, but their commitment to the people of Deadfire does not. They continue feeding, healing, and helping the neediest, just as they have for decades. It is no longer a holy mission, but it is a mission all the same.
Well, that's good. We need more of that.
Ruanu, the chieftain of the Huana at Tikawara, dies mysteriously. The tribe finds his body washed up on the same beach where Anaharu challenged him to the trial of waves. Some blame Anaharu's vengeful spirit. Others see it as Ngati's final judgment. And a few speak of a strange man seen lingering in the village.
Who would the strange man be?
Atsura sends a ship with food and aid
Excuse me.
and a small garrison of soldiers to the unfortunate village. The leaderless tribe is all too happy to accept Rawatai's generosity. They return the favor by reaching out to other far-flung tribes on behalf of their new benefactors. The dragon, Neraskirlas, no longer passes between Eora and the White Void, and the dead flow slowly breaks apart, exposing the temple long frozen within.
That dragon may have been the hardest fight I had in this whole series.
Under Halfyorn's guidance, the Harbingers of Dusk resettle within Remergon's temple, vowing to forever protect it from the defiling touch of outsiders. Over time, the group becomes increasingly reclusive and fanatical, attacking any who dare approach their holy site. In besting the Beast of Winter, you earned the Death God's mercy rather than his enmity. The deity remains characteristically unforthcoming about his decision, and you're left to wonder whether in doing battle with him in the White Void, you somehow furthered his apocalyptic ambitions. Utterly corrupted by the tooth of Tawamawai, the Adra at the primal island of Kazuwari continues to remain separated from the greater beyond. As increasingly anguished spirits roam the island in search of essence, blights form with greater frequency. The wildlife suffers, and the jungle thins as Kazuwari slowly dies.
I just want to make a statement here on recorded video that I had nothing to do with that.
Weakened by the events at the island, Galawain retreats further from the intrigues of the gods. Rumors spread of his displeasure, as those godlikes touched by the father of monsters begin dying mysteriously across the whole of Eora. The faces of the hunt continue to rule the Crucible and Galawain's, or rather, Tawamawai's name. The trials summoned by the statue grow deadlier with each season, until only those rare few willing to brave the gravest of dangers seek out the bloody ordeals of Kazuwari. Like the other souls following in your wake, Muatu eventually yearns to move on to the beyond and the wheel. Stymied by Eothas' actions, however, he settles on returning to Kazuwari, where he joins the choir of souls that echo throughout the Crucible. Released from their bondage to the sightless eye, the Vithrak of the Halls Obscured abandon the Black Isle and resettle in the deepest and darkest recesses of the ruins beneath Nekataka. Sisak and his colony remain secretive and isolated, however, rarely interacting with those kith crawling about in the sunlight above. Encouraged by her arcane successes, Bakarna returns to her observatory to continue her studies of the celestial spheres. In time, her colleagues in the Circle of Archmagi come to accept her among their number. She takes on apprentices, and they trumpet her praises as both a brilliant innovator and nurturing pedagogue. Slain by your hand, the Titan of Wal poses little further threat to Eora. As the corpse decays, it putrefies into a massive nest of hungry fungal monstrosities.
I was afraid of that.
Vessels that anchor off the shores of the Black Isles tend to go missing, only to turn up shipwrecked months or even years later against distant shores. With time, the body collapses upon itself, and the Black Isles finally implode. Seeking a living receptacle for the essence contained within the tomes you unearthed and the halls obscured, Langgrath devotes herself to study of the Godseed. She occasionally contacts you, usually on Dragonback, to solicit your expertise and advice. Her progress with the ancient Angwithan device remains steady, if excruciatingly slow.
Yeah, I like Berkarna. I'm glad that she ended up kind of with a good ending.
Infrequent but persistent rumors speak of an island overrun by primordial spore creatures and ruled by a roughly kith-shaped entity, more fungus than not.
Uh-oh.
A creature well practiced at the most potent wizardry. No sailor or explorer, however, can furnish reliable charts to this fabled Isle of Decay.
Probably a good thing that they can't.
Though your adventures alter the destiny of Eora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed in ways both big and small. Adair returns to Hisongo, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Alava. The boy takes heart in Adair's account that Eothas and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of Kith. Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair the many scars left upon Deadfire by the gods. Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud. And Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so. Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind. And Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship.
Psh, whatever, Shodi.
Seemingly lit with an inner glow, Shodi takes to a new life of mission work with gusto. She still is committed to shepherding souls forgone, but having realigned her goals with that of her fellow Dawn Stars, she now endeavors to help the living as much as the dead. As you travel the Deadfire, you find her sleeping better and laughing more often. When the time comes for her to return to her temple in Neketaka, it's with a clear wistfulness and much lip-biting on her part. She leaves you with her sickle and a hastily scrawled note. It reads, "A keepsake from a path once walked. Remember me, Watcher, for I will forever dream of you."
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You go dream about me over there. That's fine. That's cool.
Aloth renews his commitment to destroying the Leaden Key. With the wheel broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. You let Rimaro go, and the former pirate ostensibly set sail for the trade lanes of the Eastern Reach, the Edir Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time together, Seraphon seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka. And yet, when the two of you part, Seraphin seems emboldened, invigorated by a new sense of purpose. He buys you a drink, toasts to the Deadfire, says let's see if we can make something worth a shit out of what's left of his Principi swabs, and sets sail the next morning.
It sounds funny hearing her say shit.
In the years to follow, rumors occasionally reach you of the Blue Orland pirate of the Deadfire, a privateer captain as keen to free slaves or fight for an influence as he is to plunder and pillage. After reporting back to her superiors for the Watcher's actions against the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is rewarded with reassignment home to the Valian Republics. She spends the next several years as the head of the household guard for the Duke of Ancense. In this role, she is often lauded for her courage and loyalty. Even with all of the praise, there are still times when she cannot help but feel she could have had more influence on what transpired in the Deadfire.
No, I should have stayed at my party.
Pallegina renews her relationship with Giacomo, corresponding with him regularly, and even meeting with the old Animancer once or twice a year. Though she does not understand the intricate details of his research, she reads his letters and responds with great enthusiasm. Her brothers, and even the dukes themselves, note that Pallegina's demeanor is always warmer on the days when she receives a letter. Rumors even spread that some of the brothers have seen her smile. Time away from the Navy gives Maya Rua some perspective on how Rawatai conducted the Deadfire occupation. No sooner does she return to active duty than she voices her frustrations over some of the more underhanded tactics she witnessed and carried out in the name of the homeland. Her voice carries all the way to the Ranganui, who reminds his admirals that battles are won by superior tactics, but war is a battle of precedent, and winning is not always a victory. The people listen.
Now, you know what? Shodi had my heart for a while. It's over now. And now I'm going to resign myself to the fate of a true barbarian. A true barbarian does not find love. A true barbarian only finds violence and fury. And that is the path I will walk. Apparently not this barbarian.
Though Maya's covert assignment in the Deadfire is considered a success, few claim knowledge of it or openly congratulate her. She receives no praise beyond knowing glances or the occasional raised tankard from her countrymen. She never responds.
I do think it's funny that, like, everybody that could have had a romance with in this game tried to have a romance with me, except for the one person that in the beginning I had planned to have a romance with. I will never not find that funny.
Maya's part in the conquest of Ukaizo brings fame and fortune to the Rua family. Officers salute her in passing, and a row of medals decorate the breast of her uniform. Her parents and siblings are paraded between the great houses of Rawatai for nightly dinners and celebrations. She has a hero's welcome in her future.
See, and that's what kind of made, that's one of the many things that kind of made this playthrough stand out to me, though. Like, not everything went perfect, and I like that. I actually like that.
She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza. Takehu never intended to grasp at the destiny his coming foretold, but he finds himself doing just that. He sails from island to island as an emissary from the gods to the Huana people. The tribes welcome his message and use it to bridge their traditions across the archipelago. Huana unity has never been stronger. With Ngati's covenant firmly in mind, Takehu feels confident enough to reshape the very Deadfire. Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Takehu does not look back. The sea feels restless in his absence.
It's just me, but I constantly accidentally get her to romance me.
Your pursuit of Eothas and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Andra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukaizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond, and at the world they will fashion for themselves. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
Yeah, Watch will sail straight into a storm, and I probably don't have that halberd this time around. All in all, that didn't really sound like a terrible ending in the end for, like, just overall. I mean, it wasn't perfect for everybody, but it wasn't bad. Good lord, Ruger is snoring loudly behind me. Is this credits? Alright, so yeah, this is done. Whew, 210 hours probably for, like, both games. 104 to do this one. This was great. I absolutely loved this game. I've mentioned it many times while playing this. If you do not have this, if you are thinking about getting it, do so. If you want to get it through Steam, Steam is going to have their Black Friday sale in a month. They've got a Halloween sale. I have no idea if this is going to come up in a Halloween sale. I wouldn't think so, but it's Steam, so who knows. Get this. It is worth it. I can't really even think of that. I can't think of any flaws really outside of maybe ship combat. Like the actual at a distance with the cannons and stuff. I tried it one time there on his stream. It was kind of confusing. Didn't seem that engaging really. But I like the boarding of the ships. I absolutely loved everything having to do with ships in this. Just exploring the world in a boat, checking everything out, just getting lost in the world. Like, when I started doing that early on, I had maybe planned on taking like a day or two just sailing around and then getting back into a quest or something. I just enjoyed just sailing around and doing whatever the hell I wanted to do and just discovering things. And I love games like that. I love discovering. Most of the ship systems are absolutely underdeveloped. It was way too easy to never have morale issues ever. Yeah, that too. Like, and I'm assuming that probably doesn't change with higher difficulty. Like, it wouldn't necessarily have been a big deal to me if maybe it had been something that had become a bigger deal with higher difficulty. But it probably doesn't, I'm guessing. I was a little bit wary about the whole only having 5 people in your party. And you know what? It worked. I didn't think it would, but I found myself towards the end being okay with having 5 people in my party. I don't know why they made that decision. Balance reasons, maybe. Maybe because they have multi-classing in this. But either way, I was okay with it by the end. Because there's so much personality in each of the characters that you get more interactions with those 5 characters than you would in, say, a lot of games that have more playables at a time, that have 6. Like, it felt like there was a lot more going on than, say, Baldur's Gate. As much as I love Baldur's Gate, and granted, Baldur's Gate's an older game, but still, like, it worked. They made it work. I see a lot of people sometimes say the combat isn't as good in this. I didn't mind the combat. I absolutely loved some of the boss fights. There's boss fights from this I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. I am never going to forget that first Konzelhof fight, because I knew it was going to be a pain the first time I went into it. Now, granted, that's the first PoE, and now I'm probably going to bounce back and forth between the two games here a bit, but that first Konzelhof fight was so cool, the way it came down to the wire. In this game, that fight against the dragon whose name I can't pronounce from Beast of Winter, that was an amazing fight. The Oracle Whale fight, that I went into that totally sloppy fight, didn't do it as well as I wanted to do it in the beginning, but I made it work. And at the end, I felt accomplished having done it. Like, just the boss fights are so well developed in this. The game's beautiful, yeah, it's gorgeous. Just an absolute... And the funny thing about it, too, is I've not played a lot of modern games these days. Like I said before, I've taken a lot of years off gaming. Kind of came back into it in the last couple years, and I pretty much, when I came back into it, was playing a lot of retro. Because I couldn't do a lot of really graphic-intensive games, because I didn't have a good gaming PC. Now that I have one, holy shit, this game's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. You could tell a lot of work went into the backgrounds and stuff like that. Especially the bits where, like, Eothas is standing around and you're on the map looking at him. It's like, whew. Yeah, music's great. Got no complaints about the music. There's a couple bugs with the music I ran into once or twice. There were a couple small bugs with AI that I ran into, which really wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe happened. It seemed to happen mostly in Seeker Slayer Survivor. But wasn't anything that I couldn't work around. They built a hell of a world with this too. They built a hell of a... Just, there was a lot of world building that went into this that you could tell there was some love put into it. And there's so much that can be done with it too. You know what I mean? DLCs. Best one was Forgotten Sanctum, I think. Beast of Winter was pretty good too. Forgotten Sanctum, I like a good dungeon crawl. And that's what it felt like. Plus, it was just so different. Just, oh, there was some gross shit in that. But it was, but it was interesting, you know? Beast of Winter, I really liked too. I liked how it expanded on Rimmergan. I liked the fights. Again, that dragon fight was freaking crazy. I liked kind of putting Rimmergan in his place at the end. Seeker Slayer Survivor wasn't bad for what it was. I don't think it seemed buggy because that's when I started having the AI issues. But then that fight against I'm gonna mess the name up because I can only remember a little bit of Eothas, the woman. There was a huge bug with her while I fought her where she just like fell over and laid down, and I just beat her to death because she just laid there the whole time. So I don't know what that was all about, but I don't mind arena fights. I'm kind of interested in maybe messing with that a little bit offline at some point, but definitely Forgotten Sanctum and Beast of Winter, definitely DLC you want to play through for sure. It's definitely worth it. Whew. And another thing that I was going to bring up before, I don't know how many other games do this as well, because again, I've taken so much time off from playing anything modern. One thing that surprised me with this, especially in this game, PoE 1 did it too, just the sheer amount of choices that you have. You can build a character and your background comes into play, your class comes into play, This right here is my favorite part of my favorite song, I think, in the whole series. This is like epic boss music right here. Just, you got choices on your background, your class, your skill sets, and it comes into play so often. The items you have, your abilities. The best place I can use as an example is, oddly enough, the last stream I had in Seeker Slayer Survivor. That last arena fight where you got the 3 teams, and you've got the one team's going for the ropes. You can jump on the rope. What can you do to stop them? And it gives you all these options based on what you've got available to you, and they're options that make total sense, you know. And there's a few of them, like, absolutely, if you've got Eothas and he's got, I think it's Slick or Slicken, I forget what the name of the spell is. The spell, this is a level 1 spell, it does grease, essentially. You can use that on them to make the rope slippery so they slide down. It makes sense. Like, I love having all those different options available to me. And this was really, really good with that. I feel like if I play this again, there's going to be, it's going to feel a lot different. And I'm definitely going to play this again. There's a lot of replayability here. There's so much replayability here. So many different things you can do. So many, just based off who you have with you, the choices you make. Yeah, tons of replayability. So many sides to go with. Like, I kind of want to play this again and just be a complete asshole. Not, well, I should rephrase that. I'm not going to do that bit, for instance, in the cave, and I think it was White March 2, where the little girl's hanging out with the Hollowborn kids, and you can step on a cookie you offer her. Like, I won't be Wix, that's it. I won't be that kind of an asshole, but like, I can be kind of a manipulative kind of asshole. And just, I can tell there's going to be so many different options to take on that, and it's going to feel different. Like, I'm definitely going to be playing this again. Sometime soon, maybe, offline a little bit, but I may mess with it a little bit. It's awesome interaction you can have with Queen on Ukaizo if you just freed a dragon. She is so mad at you, threatening to throw you out of the palace and so on. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, okay, we ran into, like, at least 8 dragons. And you remember her, and you remind her she needs all the allies she can get. Like, remember, there's like 8 dragons. I think I killed like 3. Because I either talked out my way out of conversations with some of them. Some of the ones I killed, I probably could have talked my way out of conversations with them. I think you can actually talk out of a conversation with the Otter Dragon in one. I could have killed the Fire Dragon. Like, I could go into this, I could play a Dragon Slayer. Just, I have this thing about killing dragons because my character hates dragons for some reason. And just, the game suddenly changes because now all these dragons I run into, they're targets, you know? She relents, saying that you can be of use to her, and one of the responses you have is, nah, I'm out of here, bye. Oh, this game was nuts, man. Just, this was so, so good. That's a lot of names. So yeah, I cannot recommend this enough.